Hi, welcome to Therapy Designs. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kelly, and this channel is all about teaching you how to create print-on-demand designs using Canva. So if that is something that you're interested in, please do stick around. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can create this design right here. This is a great design that you can use for Father's Day, or really just any gift for dad's birthday, or anything else. This is a fishing themed one, but the cool thing about this technique that I'm going to show you is you can use this technique for anything. So you can pick any word that you want, you can use any niche that you want, any silhouette style graphics that you want, and you can create all sorts of different designs using this technique. So if you would like to learn how to do this, please do stick around. So here we are on Canva's home page, and I am going to be designing for a t-shirt today. So I'm going to go over to the right-hand side where you see custom size. I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to be selecting 4500 by 5400 pixels. Now this will pull up a blank page. I do like to design for black, so I'm just going to go ahead and start with a black background. So I'll go to the left-hand side where you see background color, and I'm just going to go ahead and start by selecting black. Now in today's design, I'm going to show you how you can do a word design with cutouts in it. And so the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and pick a font. And so the word that I'm going to be using here is for Father's Day, so we're just going to go really simple, and we're going to go with dad. And I do want this to be in all caps. So if you hit T on your keyboard, that'll pull up a text box, and then you can go ahead and just type in dad in all caps. And this is what we're going to start with. So for this design, what I'm looking for is something that's going to be very bold, maybe a little bit more narrow so that I can make it big. And we're going to have cutouts essentially where you see what would be the holes for dad. So I'm looking for something that I can easily make solid. And so starting here, Canva Sans, I could bold it and that might work. But I am looking for something maybe a little bit more squared off. So I did search for a while for bold fonts, and you can always do a search here for fonts that are bold. And what I ended up coming up with was one called Anton. So you can just search for Anton, and there is an Anton right here. It is kind of bold and kind of narrow, and so you can see right there. This is a good font because I can make this very large, right? Very large, very big. I can easily fill in these areas here. And so this will work perfect for this design. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my dad right here. And now what I'm going to do is go ahead and fill in these spots. And so the easiest way to do that, by the way, would be to do something like hit R on your keyboard. If I hit R on my keyboard, it's going to pull up a rectangle. And now with this rectangle, I can move it, crop it, resize it, whatever I want. And so I'm just going to do something like that. And so what you can see is I've just made the D and dad solid. And so I can do it again. I can hit R on my keyboard, or I can click on the rectangle I already have and hit Control D, which would duplicate my rectangle. And then I can just move it over to the other D, and so you can see the way that this looks. I'm going to do it one more time here for the A, so I can hit Control D or just hit R on my keyboard, bring that over. I may need to crop it a little bit. And now I've got my perfect dad lettering that I'm going to do my cutouts on. So I'm starting here. Now for this style, we're gonna have to save our final thing as a as an image and then pull it up and do a background remover on it. With that in mind, what it means is that if you would like a particular color, it may be easier to start with that color now. So if you want to keep your dad white, great, perfect. If you want your dad to be any other color, now's a good time to create a different color for it. So let's just say I'm going to make it a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and make it teal. Why not? So I'm going to make dad teal, and I can put the text as that same teal color. There we go, text as that teal color, and my rectangles also as that nice teal color. Perfect. And so now this is good because this will pop on, a dark color shirt or a light color shirt. So I've got my dad. And I'm going to go ahead and group this together. So I'm clicking anywhere outside of the main image. So usually out, down, and in a corner. I'm going to left click, hold that, and I'm dragging over everything. And then I let go. and it groups everything together. So now what I can do is I can hit group, and so now this is one image, so I won't accidentally move any of my rectangles or anything like that. So now that I have my solid dad, I'm going to look for some things that I can put in here that will work as cutouts. Now for this design, we're going to go with a fishing theme, but you can use this style with any other theme. So I'm using fishing, but you know, you can do it with tools, or you can do it with kind of anything that dad may be interested in. So, but with fishing, let's go ahead. What I'm thinking is a fisherman in one, a hook in the other, and a fish in the third. And with that in mind, we're going to go over to the left-hand side of the page where we see elements. And here's where we're going to be doing some element searching. And so we can start with any one of these. So let's just go ahead and go with, let's say, fisherman, and see what comes up. And we're going to be going for graphics. And now what we want is more of a silhouette style. So any of these kinds of styles would do. Now I do have a video that shows how to make anything into a silhouette. So if you can't find exactly what you want in a silhouette style, we can take any one of these graphics and make it a silhouette. But let's just go ahead and start here with this one. I'm going to go ahead and flip him so he's facing the other direction. So flip horizontal. And let's bring it up and see what this might look like if I made it big enough that it fit inside the D. So something like that. Might need to make him a little bit bigger because essentially he is going to be the cutout of the D. So something there, and that looks pretty good. I like where he's at. Now I'm going to have to cut it because I only want it to fill this spot. So I'm going to go ahead and crop this. So I'm going to click here, double click, and usually it will let me crop. This one may not. I'm having trouble cropping this one, and if you find one that you like and you're having trouble cropping it, there are ways around that, so don't worry about it yet. I'm going to keep this here and see if I can find another one that may be easier to crop. And if not, then we'll show you how to do this one. I do really like that cutout though, so I may just end up going with it anyways. Okay, so something I wanted to show you here is I found some other cool fisherman silhouettes that we could use. I kind of want to show you the difference between these two in terms of trying to crop it. So this one, when I double click to try to crop it, I'm not getting the little squares on the edge that just let me crop. I'm getting something that says crop. I can rotate it. It's letting me do that in order to crop it, but it's not letting me take the sides in. I can shrink it down, or I guess I can pull it out. So this one's letting me crop, but weird. So it's keeping it as a square, and I can crop it by making it bigger or smaller, but it's still making me fit it into that square. So it's not letting me change, essentially it's not letting me change the shape. So I could crop it like that. Now it's bigger, and it's technically cropped, but I can't crop it outside of that shape. So if I didn't want it to be square, this one's really not going to let me crop the way that I want. I'm going to go ahead and go back real quick. Now that varies depending on the image, so I'm going to show you with one of these other ones here. So let's say I was to take this graphic, and I'm going to bring it up here so you can see it, and I double click on this. It's giving me these corners. And so what these corners do is it's allowing me to crop it in a way that I can change the shape. And that's great because then I can crop this way, which is what I had wanted to do, and essentially make it a different shape where now it's more rectangular and I've taken out the fish. And so this is what I wanted to do. This one won't let me do it, so I've got two choices here. I can either switch graphics and use something like this, which I can definitely do, but I really, really like this guy, so I might still go with this one. Or I can use this, and there's ways around it for this style that I can get around. So I might just go ahead and stick with this, and I'll get around it another way. And so the way I'm going to get around it, just so you're aware, is when we do our background remover, we're only going to have two colors on here. We're going to have black, and we're going to have this teal. And the idea is to remove everything that is black and keep everything that is teal. So what that means is, let me go ahead and make sure he's the same color black as the background, because we want only those colors. I can go ahead and cover this up. So I can do that rectangle thing again. So I can hit R, and I am going to cover this fish here up. And so that's essentially what I'm going to do, is cover up the fish with a teal box. And I want to be as close as I can to the D. And if I need to zoom in, I can zoom in at the bottom here. So I can zoom in real tight and make sure that's perfectly lined up. It looks like it can go in. Maybe just a couple. Maybe. Here we go. And so that looks real good there. So what I've essentially done is cover up the fish. The black part of the pole went conveniently over the A, so it's going to disappear into the black. And so now I have my fisherman exactly how I want him. And so that's just the way that we're going to get around that little issue I had. And so, oops, get rid of that. And so now we're going to be looking for another graphic. So I'm going to go back up to my magic recommendations, and this time I'm going to look for a fish hook. And I'm looking for a fish hook that's a little bit bold, but also a little bit sort of long and narrow, that it's going to fit well in this A. So, for example, here is a good fish hook that I might use, and I can angle it better to make it fit. But something like that could work as a fish hook there. And so I think that might actually work pretty well. What I can do is rotate it and move it. And I'm just using the little arrows on my keyboard. So if I use up, down, right, left arrows, I can move any graphic I want 1 pixel at a time. So I can make itty bitty little movements if I want to. So there would be my little fish hook for Dad. And now there's lots of different fish hooks I could use. And so you can play around and see if there's anything you like better. And of course, you don't have to use a fish hook. You can use anything you want. I'm just sort of showing you this style. So here is another fish hook here. And there's lots of different ones that you could use. Some ones that are a little bit maybe bolder that might work better. This one's a little bit narrow. So if I took something like, let's say this one here, and moved it up, and maybe I flipped this one over, it's pretty similar, but it's thicker. So if I get rid of that thin one and I use this one here, pretty similar, but a little bit thicker. I can still angle it, and I can still try to center it a little bit. And so maybe that one looks a little bit better just because it's a little bit bigger. And I can move it around to get it just the way I want it. And now if I want a line attached to it, because right now it's just the hook, but it doesn't have the line attached, I can just put a line up there. So to do that, I can just hit L on my keyboard. That's going to pull up a line. I can make that line vertical. I can move that line up in the page so that it lines up there. And now right now you can't see it very well, but what I can do here would be to go ahead and make it wider so that it is visible. And I do want it to be black, right? And so something like that. And then I can line it up perfect there. That'll do. So now I've got my line. And so that should be the solid black. I need my hook to be that solid black. Remember, we want everything to be just one color. So I've got the black and the teal, or if you kept it white, the black and the white, or whatever color you decided to make it. Hopefully there's a good contrast there. And then the last one I want is some sort of a fish. Doesn't matter what kind of fish. So let's just go ahead and go with fish. And again, silhouette is better, but if you find one that you really like and it's not a silhouette, no problem. We can find ways to work around that too. You can use the duotone app and just make both of the tones black, and that will create a silhouette for you. So you can always make a silhouette out of anything. So let's look and see if I can find a fish silhouette that I like. So here's an example of a fish silhouette, nice and simple there. All right, so here's one example of a fish silhouette here. That's a simple one that I could use if I wanted to, and it's going to come up with some other silhouettes too, so I can hit see all and see if there's different ones that I like. And so some of them may be better if they're a little bit more long and narrow. Let me see this one here. So if I had this fish maybe completely vertical, something like that. And I moved that fish right there. That's how that would look. And if I don't like that fish, I could use any of these other ones. So let's say I get rid of that one and I go with this one. May look a little bit better just in terms of shape. And so something there is kind of cool. And so that might work good. And again, so you can play with whatever you want. And then this style, of course, can be used for anything. So like I said, I'm showing you here with a fish theme, but you can do it with a tool theme. You can do it with pretty much any hobby you want. And of course, you can do it with any word that you want. So you can pick any word that you like and do this exact same thing of making it solid and then putting any kind of image that you want in here that's a silhouette. And you can use this technique there too. So I'm just showing you the technique, and then I hope that you guys can be very creative and do lots of things with it. So with that, I do like the way that this one is looking, so I might just stick with that. I want to make sure that this is the right shade of black, so always make sure that you've just got your black and your teal. And so that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and group all of those together now. Again, just to make sure that everything... Oops, I lost my line. If you ever move something on accident, you can hit that undo button. It will undo it. Let me go ahead and get that line in my group 2. Group that. Now my line will move as well. I can resize it. You may want to make it a little bit smaller in the page, and I'll tell you why, because when we go to do our background remover, we want it to be super clear and easy, essentially for the software to know what the background is. So the background is going to be the thing that takes up the most space. So the background here is the black, because the black is taking up the most space in the design. If you make your design so large that the background is very small in comparison, it may do the opposite and remove the teal and keep the black. And so what we've got right now is our dad. Now we're going to go ahead and save this. So we're going to go to the top right hand side where it says share. We are going to hit download. And for this one, we do not want the transparent background. We want this black. So we're going to download it exactly as is. So I'm just going to hit download. Perfect. And then we're going to pull up another page. So I'm going to hit add page. And I'm going to go ahead and make this page a slightly lighter color because I want you to be able to see the image on it. So we'll go over to the left-hand side, and you're looking for the tab that says Uploads. We're going to click on that, and we're going to upload the design that we just downloaded. Okay. And once you've uploaded it, you can go ahead and bring it onto your blank page by just dragging and dropping. So now I've got my original and my copy. And so now my copy is essentially an image that I've brought over from Uploads. So now I can use photo effects on it. So with this, I can go over to Edit Photo in the top left-hand side. And now I've got all of my cool photo effects, including my background remover and my magic eraser. So let's go ahead and use this background remover, and hopefully this works out well. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I have to fiddle with sizing or colors to make sure that I get it right. But most of the time, perfect, it works great. And so there it is, perfect. So what it did is it removed all of the black, it left that teal, and there is my cutout image. And so that is awesome. I'm going to crop that down. And so you can see that as a cutout, I could now put it on any color shirt I want, and what I would get would be that cool cutout. Not that I would put it on those colors, but so that you can see, you could get it on a wide variety of different colors, and you're going to get that nice cutout look. So let's go ahead and go back to black. Now I could put it up just like this, and that's fine too. Or I could add a little bit more text to it. And I think I'm going to add a little bit more text to it because I want it to look like a nice full design. And right now, it's good, but I think it could be better. So I'm going to add some text up to the top. And what I'm going to go ahead and put, a nice funny niche that I've seen, and we're just going to use a little pun that says real cool dad. And so the top is going to say real cool, but it's R-E-E-L, like a fishing reel. And so we're going to hit T on the keyboard, pull up a text box. I'm going to go ahead and put real cool. And I'm going to make that nice and big. Now that is going to go up here. Now I can't see it on the black, so I'm going to have to change the color. I'm going to go ahead and change the color there to white. Something here. And then again, we're going to pick some fonts, and you can use, again, any font that you like. I played with a lot of different fonts to see what I thought might look the best, and I ended up going with one called Hussar Bold. I can never say them right. Hussar, did I get that right? There it is, yeah. Hussar Bold. So I thought that that looked pretty cool. Center that. And so what I've got is my real cool dad shirt. And so that's nice. It is now ready to go. So now I'm going to title this one real cool, because I can title each page differently once you have more than one page. And so now I'm going to download this one. So I'm going to hit share, download. This time I do want the transparent background. So I want the transparent background. I only want page 2, because that is this page right here. I can hit done and I can hit download. And now what I am going to get is going to be this whole design with the cutouts ready to go on whatever product I feel like putting it on. Again, I designed this for a t-shirt. You could really put it on anything you want. You may have to change the dimensions or the size, which would be really easy to do by going over to the top side of the page where it says resize and magic switch. And from here, you could resize to any size you want, including a custom size. You can copy and resize or just resize the design itself. And so that's really easy to do as well. And so this is pretty much ready to go. It was a really simple design. I've seen this style done a lot before, and so I want you to be as creative as you want with this. Use this style, use different words, different niches, different graphics, and create all sorts of different, really cool designs now that you know how to do this. So if you have any questions about this, drop it in the comment section below. I'll try to get back to everybody as quickly as I can. I hope your second quarter is doing really well. I will be putting out a video for third quarter niches sometime within the next month or so, so you can look for that. And I do have one more Father's Day style design coming up here soon, so if you're interested in that, keep watching. And I hope to see you guys again. That's it for today's video. If you found that useful and would like to see more videos with helpful tips and tricks, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the weekly videos. As always, keep growing and stay creative, and we'll see you next time.